Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about sending that very first message. We want to imagine this person who has, let's say, 30 messages in their inbox. And our goal is to follow some of these tips I have here on this page for you. So we want to start off with making sure that we're breaking the scroll effect for that person. So imagine somebody on social media and maybe they're on Instagram and they're just scrolling through all of these pictures. That's what you're trying to halt, is that tendency for you to just thumb through and only focus on the things that are like really sexy or shocking. We have to stick out from those sorts of people. And you might even have been one of those people that your messages are just getting lost because people aren't paying attention. So when we start that first message, you got to step out from that. So we're going to make sure that every message we send is original. So you got to stay away from this idea of copy and pasting like advice tips that you get from that really, hot, sexy dating coach that you saw on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Stay away from just these generic things. You got to be original, right? So you may take ideas you saw in a Jay Shetty video and you want to try to just use those things, but you can't. Is you got to make it your own somehow. So it's okay to take ideas, take inspiration, but make sure that what you're actually writing isn't a copy or a paste. It's the biggest no-no. The other thing you want to do is use humor. Most people find humor engaging. If you're trying to date somebody who maybe doesn't get get like the joke that you might be trying to say, then that's the person that might not get humor really well. So you got to know the person that you're talking to. So if this person seems to have jokes in their bios, then you're going to find more opportunity to use humor for that person. But it's okay to just start off with humor right out the bat. So how do we do that? Again, do not copy and paste unless you're trying to start off with a joke that you kind of make it about the person you're talking to. So humor still has to be original, right? So you can start off with the joke, but how do you make this grounded to this person? That's the kind of thing that we have to start breaking through. Right? So use originality, use humor to break that kind of scroll effect. Use icebreakers. Icebreakers would be an alternative to humor. So an icebreaker is going to be things that is going to kind of melt the conversation. So it makes it so we're not so guarded and we're not just like, who is this stranger I'm talking to kind of thing. So I put an example here under icebreakers of one that you could use for an example is like, if you could avoid doing any one chore. So what is that going to tell you about a person, and how does this kind of create that, break that scroll effect? For one, is that you might not be that person may not be getting very many just questions. You always want to have a call to action. So what's a call to action? That's like when you click on a website and there's a button that says buy now. That buy now is telling you what to do next. Buy now, right? So an icebreaker, when you're using a call to action as your icebreakers, you want to say whatever you're going to say, but make sure you include a question on these messages. So if all you're saying is, hey, you still single? Yes, I'm on a dating app. I'm still single. It's a question that you can kind of assume, but again, you're talking to people who might not really, be single, but don't do that right away though. Use that as a way to break the ice more. So if you really want to know if this person really is single and they're not really trying to catfish you or trick you somehow, is you can use that as your call to action. So, what would you like to know? It's just like, what's your dream of meeting somebody one day that, do you see yourself getting married? What's the, think about how you could make this kind of call to action thing happening with the choice of content that you're using. So if you're stuck and you want specific icebreakers, so again, remember this icebreaker is just something that breaks that scroll effect. Just you can Google icebreaker at any moment and you can probably get like 100 different icebreakers there. The ones that I responded well to online are ones that were more on the humor side. I love a good dad joke. And so if somebody breaks the ice using the humor, throwing a good dad joke, or maybe a Minecraft kind of joke if you're into Minecraft, but make it about like this person, and we'll get into that content here in the next video. The final tip that we have on starting these messages, like just opening with the messages, is making sure that you're communicating the length that the other person is. So let's say that you come up with a clever dad joke and that person responds back and they responded with a lot of length. You want to make sure that what you write kind of matches the length right about what they did. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want to make sure that you're participating equally to what that other person is, that you're not doing all the work and they're not doing all the work with talking, right? So, so make sure the messages are even length. Now, when we go into the next video, we're going to be going into how we can kind of make conversation flow a little bit more.